Kids, grab your imaginary passports and your bags because it's time to become world-trodden explorers right where you are.
Hello. My name is Asher and I'm your host along with my mom, Kristen.
Today, we're going back to Shalem Preschool at Congregation Tikvat Jacob in South Bay, California to learn about Passover with Rabbi Selilah. Before we get started, this episode is dedicated to Ravid and his family and Audrey from Queens, New York. Thank you so much for suggesting this episode and for being a part of our Culture Kids community.
Thank you so much.
And we also want to say thank you to LNM 135 for leaving us a 5-star rating on Apple. They said, "We love podcasts, and this is one of our current favorites that most certainly has staying power. We love both the narrative and learning about the world. Thanks, Culture Kids, for sharing the world with us." Thank you, everyone, for your support, and please make sure to tell everyone you love about Culture Kids. As many of you already know, we don't really have a marketing budget, so sharing our show with your loved ones is what helps our show grow and spread more love around the world.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Culture Kids, let's hop on our culture train and meet Rabbi Selilah. Whether it's your first time hearing about Passover or you celebrate it every year, come along with us on this heartfelt adventure to celebrate the families all around the world that are observing this special time of the year. Pack your bags, everyone, because we're heading to South Bay to learn about...
All aboard!
Passover! We just arrived in South Bay, California at a beautiful Jewish temple called Congregation Tikvat Jacob. Here inside the building is Shalem Preschool, and I think Rabbi Selilah is waiting for us inside.
I'll ring the bell.
Go ahead.
Hey, Kristen. Hey, Asher. Hey, Culture Kids. It's great to see you again. Come on in.
Thank you so much for having us.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Thanks for meeting us again. This is a nice office. There's so many books.
And my favorite part is that I can hear the sounds of kids playing outside. For our friends who haven't met you before from our last episode, could you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Rabbi Selilah. I'm the director of Shalem Preschool, and we spend a lot of time in our classroom, which is in a synagogue. So we get to experience all the different cultural traditions within our community.
Shalem Preschool? Like a school for little kids?
Yep, it's a school that is welcoming of every family, no matter what religion or tradition you practice at home.
Cool. But they must celebrate Passover. It's coming up soon. My friends told me about it.
Yep, that's what we're here to learn about today. We know that it begins at sundown on Saturday, April 12th, and ends at night on Sunday, April 20th.
That's 8 days. Can you tell us more about it?
Sure. Passover is my favorite holiday, and it's actually the holiday that more Jews celebrate around the world than any other holiday because it's that special.
Christmas and Halloween are my favorite holidays. So why do you celebrate Passover?
Can I tell you a story?
Oh yeah, we love story time.
So every religion has one story that really helps the people of that religion know who they are. And this is our story.
Cozy up, guys.
So a long time ago, the Jews were slaves in Egypt. There was a really mean Pharaoh who was like a king, and he made them work so hard. They were building buildings and schlepping bricks. That means carrying and pulling. And Moses didn't like it.
Moses? We learned about Moses in the Bible.
Yep, that's the same Moses.
And God asked Moses to help free the Jewish people from this evil Pharaoh. And he went to the Pharaoh and said, You need to let my people go. You need to let the Jews go. And the Pharaoh said, nope, that's not happening.
That's not nice.
Moses said, but God is going to make terrible things happen if you don't let them go because he needs his people free. So then began 10 plagues. It started with the river running red, and then frogs.
Oh yeah, like there was a frog invasion. Frogs were everywhere, in beds, bowls, and even shoes.
And between each plague, Moses would go to Pharaoh and say, let my people go. And Pharaoh would say, okay, just end the plague. Okay. Then, as soon as the plague ended, Pharaoh would change his mind.
So what happened?
And each plague got worse and worse. And even the Egyptians were upset because they were like, come on, we don't want to deal with these plagues anymore. Finally, the worst plague came, the 10th plague. And Pharaoh said, get out, I don't want any more plagues. And the Jews packed up their stuff really quickly. They didn't even have time to bake their bread. So they had to carry something that they called matzah, which was unleavened bread. It didn't rise.
It didn't rise? Like the bread wasn't done? What does that mean?
That means it doesn't get fluffy like regular bread because there's no time for the little air bubbles to form. It stays flat like a cracker. So the Jewish people carried matzah during their exodus because they had to leave Egypt so quickly.
Before the Pharaoh changed his mind again.
And they grabbed their stuff and they ran out of Egypt. But the Pharaoh, true to form, decided to change his mind again and sent his whole army after them and chased the Jews in a big chase until they came to a big body of water. And the Jews had to stop because there was this big body of water. So they asked God, what do we do now? We're trapped.
Ooh, I think I know what happens next.
And God parted the sea so they could walk across, get away from the Egyptians, and then the water closed again. And they were free.
I love this story about Moses parting the seas so the people escape. This is very cool.
Yes, this is part of the Old Testament in the Bible, which is the book that our family reads to practice our faith.
That's true. You know, we share a lot of the same stories. That's what's so neat because we have so much in common. In fact, I know some Christians growing up who used to do a seder of their own.
We don't do it in our family, but that sounds nice.
So how does the community remember this important story during Passover?
So during Passover, one of the ways we remember the story is through the bread, which is not really bread. It's made of the same stuff as bread, but it's called matzah. And like I said in the story, it's like a cracker. And that reminds us that they had to flee and didn't have any time. So we eat matzah to remember.
I've seen matzah before. It's like a flatbread that is thin and crisp.
I love learning about holidays that have so much meaning behind every little detail. From the foods, decorations, everything tells a story that shares an important lesson.
Me too. And we heard that there's a very important meal that you eat. Can you tell us about that?
So the meal that we eat is called a seder, which in Hebrew, in English, that Hebrew word means order, because the order of the meal is super important.
Oh, like appetizers, main course, and dessert?
It's funny that you ask that because, you know, there's some traditions where you start and there's so much reading and learning and talking and singing before you even eat.
Wow.
And people say, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. So it's not really like appetizers. However, one of the most important parts of the seder, the rabbis teach, that we're supposed to make it interesting and engaging and learning.
Could you give us a general idea of how the seder meal usually goes?
We begin with a few blessings that remind us why we're there, and then we start to talk about why we're there with questions and stories and songs that remind everybody at the table, no matter how young or how old, the story of Passover and how important it is to our people. And it's so cool because even the youngest at the table has a really important role. They get to ask the questions.
Like what kind of questions are they supposed to ask?
At Shalem, we spend a couple of weeks preparing our students for the seder because they have a starring role. They actually get to sing in Hebrew some questions that help guide the seder. Questions like, why is this night different than every other night?
We want to hear you sing. Can you sing a question, please?
Yup. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, mikol halelot, shebachol halelot anu ochlin chametz umatzah.
That was beautiful.
It's like a lullaby.
What do the lyrics mean?
How is this night different from all other nights? On all other nights, we eat either leavened bread or matzah, but on this night, we eat only matzah.
Thank you, that was pretty. Do you have to sing? I don't really like to sing out loud.
That's a great question. The thing I love about the Seder the most is that the rabbis wanted everyone at the table to be learning. And one thing that they understood is that everybody learns differently. So some people don't know how to ask questions. And they plan the Seder that some people are going to need to be eating the foods to understand. And some people are going to want to research ahead of time. Some people are going to want to do a skit. Like skits and funny songs are really a part of that whole meal because that's how we learn best.
My sister puts on a skit almost every week.
I love that there is creativity and fun ideas involved in planning a Seder.
Exactly. Every family can kind of create their own traditions that jump off of the Jewish traditions that they grew up with. So it can be fun.
Well, we can't wait to learn more meaningful Passover traditions next time we visit. Before we leave today, Rabbi Selilah, we'd love to hear about what Passover means to you, your family, and your community.
I mentioned at the beginning that Passover is my very favorite holiday. And I love it for so many reasons. My kids love it. It's the family's all together. We have friends. We take the time to really spend time together and talk about important things. But my very favorite thing is the message that we learn. It's a part of who we are that we know to take care of each other and to take care of those around us and to take care of those who aren't in a position to care for themselves. And I think that's very special. To always have in mind, it's not their responsibility, it's not someone else's responsibility to take care of somebody who needs help. It's my responsibility. And that's what this story teaches us.
We love this so much. Like we always say, when we learn about all the beautiful religions that Culture Kids families celebrate around the world, no matter how different each religion might be, what connects us are the shared values of caring for one another, being generous, and showing love to the people around us.
Like some religions, you wear different clothes or eat different things. But it's about being nice to everyone, and you can be friends with them too.
Well, thank you, Rabbi Selilah. We can't wait to return and learn more. But our culture train is arriving any minute, so we better head out.
All right, Kristen and Asher and Culture Kids, thanks for visiting. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Bye, Rabbi Selilah. See you soon.
Chag Sameach. And that means happy holidays.
And to our Culture Kids family, do you have a special story that is really meaningful to you? Maybe it's a story your grandparents told you or something your family always talks about during holidays or special meals. These stories, just like the story of Passover, can remind us of what matters most, like helping others, being brave, or never giving up. And to our Culture Kids around the world getting ready to celebrate Passover, we wish you a joyful, meaningful holiday filled with love, laughter, and connection. And thank you so much for being a part of our Culture Kids community. And lastly, always remember, you and your family are valued, welcomed, and celebrated for exactly who you are, because every child belongs here at Culture Kids.
All aboard!
What do you call a dog magician?
What?
A labracadabra door. Get it? Labrador. Abracadabra, labracadabra.
That's a confusing one, but I like it. Okay, my turn. Why was the math book sad?
Why?
Because it had so many problems.
Oh, I get it. Because, if you have, problems, it's you're probably going to be sad. But, math problems are, on the worksheet to be done by the children. But he had so many problems, so the problems are problems.
That was a very lengthy explanation, but yes. Excellent. Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned as we return to Shilai Temple next week to learn more about Buddhism with Venerable Hui Cheng. We have lots of fun episodes coming up, so hit subscribe and please tell everyone you love about Culture Kids. See you next week.